to create a peaceful world where we can sleep in security and wake in happiness. As I've said previously, during my years under house arrest, I drew strength from my favorite passages and the preamble to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Disregard and contempt for human rights have resulted in barbarous acts which have outraged the conscience of mankind and the advent of a world in which human beings shall enjoy freedom of speech and belief and freedom from fear and want has been proclaimed as the highest aspirations of the common people. It is essential, if man is not to be compelled to have recourse as a last resort to rebellion against tyranny and oppression, that human rights should be protected by the rule of law. I continue to draw strength from these passages, and if I am asked why I am fighting for human rights in Burma, the above passages will provide the answer. If I am asked why I am fighting for democracy in Burma, it is because I believe that democratic institutions and practices are necessary for the guarantee of human rights. In Burma, we are moving from a military dictatorship towards democracy. It is, as I have had to repeat all too often, a time for cautious optimism. We have in force the 2008 Constitution, which was calculated to establish disciplined, as is put it, democracy that guarantees the military a strong position in the governance of the country. The rules for constitutional amendments are complicated, and this solidifies the military's indirect control. The road to true democracy is a rocky and difficult one. We have a long way to go, but we are making progress, in particular within the legislature. Although the great majority of seats are occupied by the party of the government, which is composed largely of the heirs of the military regime that ruled until 2010, the National League for Democracy and other parties, including those representing ethnic nationalities, have been able to play a meaningful role in the legislature. After so many years of struggle for change, it is important to keep pressing ahead. The much-quoted final lines of Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson are apt. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, much weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Likewise, we are working to rebuild the rule of law in Burma. As I have said previously, our people do not trust the courts. We do not believe in justice delivered by the courts, and we know that for decades our courts of justice were not free from the influence of the executive. When one speaks with local lawyers in Burma, some consistent themes appear. The judiciary is poor quality, uninterested in doing justice, and enthusiastic about receiving bribes. There are still prisoners in our jails who are there simply because of their political beliefs. I have said before, and I repeat now, one prisoner of conscience is one too many. Burma's black letter laws are outdated. For example, the failure to amend the Companies Act of 1914 for almost a century and the dearth of local case law has caused the courts to cling to outdated English precedents. The law has essentially been frozen in time, while elsewhere in the world, the law in areas such as shareholder rights and remedies have moved forward quite dramatically. Parliament lacks advisors and practical support for its work. When the Foreign Investment Law was enacted with much fanfare in November 2012, there was no official English translation. This meant that foreign investors and their advisors had to guess the position based on unofficial translations of old drafts and on hearsay. This is something we must seek to address with an acceptable English translation. Likewise, we must seek to put meat on the bare skeleton that the foreign investment law currently represents through detailed regulations that will give it some genuine legal meaning and substance. And in welcoming foreign investment, we are encouraging responsible investment by companies and individuals who will think for Burma as well as for themselves. We need to ensure that such investment is fairly distributed and will not intensify ethnic tensions. In December 2012, the International Bar Association published a report entitled "The Rule of Law in Myanmar, Challenges and Prospects." The report is lengthy and detailed, and while I do not suggest that we can implement it wholesale, I do agree with many of its recommendations. The Committee for the Rule of Law and Tranquility, that is the one which I chair, will work hard to implement the necessary changes, and I hope that others will work with us. In particular, I hope that our people will work with us. As Telemachus, the inheritor of Ulysses' realm, sought to do, just laws administered with integrity, wisdom, and compassion would seek, to quote Tennyson, by slow prudence to make mild a rugged people, and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and the good, centered in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail in offices of tenderness. I am very pleased because the poem ended on the word tenderness, which is very close to compassion and kindness. I turn now to the specific topics suggested to me. This is, I think, because people are interested in helping my country and would like to know in which areas